Okay, we are live. It is the 15th of November on the daily market analysis. I hope you are on the session. You can hear me okay, see me all right. Put into the chat, let me know. In today's session, we have the US retail sales number to be released later tonight. PPI last night was 0.2%. The dollar index strength is sitting right across since yesterday to now. We'll talk about that. We'll look into how the retail sales number could impact the dollar index and all the other currency pairs, and what's going to happen to gold. Is it going to keep dropping? We'll talk all of that coming up. Okay. Good morning, Sunil. How are you doing? Hey, Edson. Good to see you. Hello, hello. And hey, Edwin. How are you doing? Now, this big reminder again, this is the last publicly available daily market analysis. After today, from next week onwards, the daily market analysis will only be available for Elite Navigator members on the YouTube channel membership. The link is there for you guys, so please make sure if you haven't already, do join. It is only $9 a month, 9 US a month. So do make sure you join that. And for all the elite navigators, I have just also given you access to the Bollinger Band indicator on TradingView, right? So you have the TSRI indicator, you have the Bollinger Band indicator. It's now available to you guys on TradingView as well. So a whole bunch of things available to elite navigators. If you haven't already, do make sure you join just so that you can, if anything else, just so that you get this daily market analysis every day. Okay. Hey Ted, how are you doing? Good afternoon. Now, if you're on the session, do drop a message and say hi. Let me know where you're joining us from. What else? You can help me out massively by remembering to click on that like and subscribe button. And if you have any questions at any point in time, please feel free to put it into the chat and let me know. It is Friday. It is Friday. It feels like it's been a relatively long week. Um, it feels like it should be Sunday already or Saturday already, right? So, getting sleepy from this market today. Hey, Serena, how are you doing? Ted's getting sleepy from this market. It has been quiet. Just before this session, we saw some activity. Gold spiked down and then back up again. Dollar spiking down right now. So we have seen some activity. We've just had 5 minutes ago, we just had the pound GDP, the UK GDP month to month, a little bit surprising. It was a zero point 0.2. It's expected to be released at a zero point 0.2, but it got released at a minus 0.1%. All right, got minus 0.1%. What did it do to the pound dollar? A whole bunch of nothing. Like Ted was saying, getting sleepy from this market because it pretty much started at 1 point, oh no, here, this hour, 1.2682. Although it came out at a minus 0.1%, it dropped slightly and then back up again, right? So it's just sitting in that small little range, not doing too much at all on the pound dollar following the news. Now, before that, we did have Chair Powell speaking earlier this morning. I didn't stay up for that. It was at 4 a.m. I didn't bother too much about what he said. Be careful about changing policy until you have more certainty. Traders trim bets for December rate cut on Powell's caution. Fed independence means monetary policy decisions can't be reversed or reviewable. Main thing is the idea that Trump is not going to have a hand in deciding what the Fed policy is going to be, but hey, he could replace the Fed chair, right? So we look into that or wait for that to come around in terms of what Trump is going to do. Before all that, we had the US PPI, Producer Price Index. It was a zero, got revised up to a 0.1, expected at 0.2, got released at a 0.2, so no big surprise there at 9:30 p.m. last night with the PPI. And you see on the dollar index at 9 right there, because there was no big surprise, it shot up and shot down and sat right there before pushing back down to that support level. Okay, so that was what happened with the PPI. Big welcome to Ted as an elite navigator. Welcome to the group, Ted, our newest member. Good to have you with us. Now, what was I going to do? I forgot. Yeah. Okay, GDP done. No other big news. Nothing else much to pay attention to. All the way through to tonight at 9:30 p.m. GMT +8, where we do have retail sales number month to month for the US to be released. Was a 0.4, expected a 0.3. I kind of want to see a 0.4 or 0.5. I think that it might bring, whatever number here might bring some bounce up on the dollar index. That's what I'm looking for, right? So either 0.3 or 0.4 or 0.5, we're looking for that to push up. Core retail sales 0.5 to 0.3. Core retail sales again excludes automobiles, right? So looking like a bit of a slowdown. Anticipating a slowdown, I'm kind of factoring in the possibility for a what's that called, upset, right? Now, with all that said, before I get on further, hey Megas, how are you doing? Good morning. Hey Augusto, good afternoon. Hope you're well. Ted said bound to happen after more than a year. Good to have you with us. Yeah. Okay. In terms of news, not that much to focus on apart from the retail sales coming up. I'll tell you what I think about it on the charts shortly, but let's look into next week. All right. Into next week, Monday seems like it's going to be a little bit quiet again. But on Tuesday onwards, we're going to have the Canadian CPI to be released, right? Canadian CPI to be released. We're going to look forward to that. Tell you more about that next week. The UK CPI on Wednesday. UK CPI on Wednesday. We're going to pay attention to that as well. US unemployment not too bothered on Thursday. And then on Friday, we come back to the whole series of PMI purchasing managers index numbers for the Eurozone, for the UK, and also for the US, the manufacturing and services PMIs to be released, retail sales numbers to be released for the Canadians, and retail sales numbers to be released for the UK. So a lot of data to be released next week. I kind of like it this way, right? I'm thinking of next week's market. It does look like it's going to be good for some trending scenarios, like what we've seen this week. There has been a massive week this week, trading wise. So I'm kind of looking forward to that continue into next week. Okay, so how has your trading been going? Put it into the chat and let me know. Hope you guys have been trading well. I hope you've been trading well. Um, hey Richard, how are you doing? Good morning. Hey Angel Case, how are you doing? Booba, long time no see. Welcome back. Good to see you. I'm just gonna send out, because I can. I'm just gonna send out this This is not what I've just sent out, is not the Elite Navigator. That's a Market Explorer membership. So those of you have them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, have the Market Explorer membership, do consider joining the Elite Navigator membership. Okay. Now, with all that said, we looked at today, we looked into next week. Let's look into the charts. Okay, here we go. Charts up. Richard says trading is not the best at the moment. Hey, Richard, put it into, you're on the Discord group. Put it into the Discord group. I'll be more than keen to help you with your trading, right? So let me know what else I can do to help you with your trades. Now, what's I gonna do? Okay, dollar index today, 15th of November. Hey, infotainment, I'm doing super. Thanks for asking. Hope you are well too. Okay, dollar index. Yesterday, I was going to sit across. It pushed up right after our session. Came back down to test the support, so it did that, and then it pushed up towards that 106.90 level, failed to break that high before coming back down again. So it's kind of done what I wanted it to do, or halfway. It didn't push up to that 107.25 level. All right, got up to 106.90, failed to break, and then now it's pushing back down again. At this point, like what I was, we started the week here, right? We started the week here, and we just took Monday up, right? I'll move this on the side first. And we started the week on Monday at just below 105. It's popped all the way up. It's trended nicely up to almost to 107, and now it's sitting in a bit of a consolidation. Based on that move, right? We've seen a retrace. We've seen it push back up, bit of a retrace, and it's consolidating. I'm looking quite closely at this support level. So usually, okay, so before I get into what I was going to say is that usually when we see a big week on the dollar, we do see at the end of the week a bit of a retrace, a bit of a correction back down before a continuation to the upside or to the downside, right? So what I'm looking at here, what's making me pay a lot of attention is this support level and this trend line. Right? This support level and this trend line here at 106.50. It's threatening. Price is now threatening that level. I'm actually even thinking that it could drop, break that support, break that trend line, maybe even come down towards this area here between 106.25 and 106 before pushing back up again. Now, if you take that long-term move right from the bottom all the way to the top, bring this back in, right? You see here this 23.6 and 38.2 forming a little bit of a confluence level. So that's what I'm looking at that point. All right, and if I took that with 38.2, it's down to that 61.8 level. I don't see it dropping that much. All right, so that's what I'm looking at here on the dollar index, is that if it breaks this level, we could see it, hang on a second. All right, if it breaks this trend line and this support level, we could see it trade down to 106.20. could see it trade down as low as this point before we see it bounce back up. Or rather, I'll be looking for it to bounce back up. So in terms of a chart, I'm looking if it breaks, we could see it come down towards 10, as low as 106 before I would see it push back up again. There we go. So dollar index, testing could test or could, well, wait, dollar index, if it breaks, if 106.50 broken, could trade down to, if 106.50 support broken, could trade down to 102, between 106.25 and 106. Right? Wouldn't look to on that big dollar weakness. I'll be looking for a rebound, which is dollar strength to 107 again. Right. So now testing this, coming down to this level. If this is broken, we could see it trade down to this area here at 106.25 and 106 round number. Then if it comes down to this point, I'm looking for it to push back up towards that 107 level, right? So nothing at this point. If it does push down, nothing at this point. I'll let that dollar weakness play out before I look for that dollar strength back in again. Why? So Richard, we have a question. Why draw smaller fib at 104.90, not 105.76? 105.76 is up here. Oh, okay. So why roughly about 104.90 is because I'm looking at it as this point where Monday started. So I'm just looking at the Monday, like this week's move, basically, right? So where the lowest point from this week, where it started, all the way to the highest point so far, that's Monday to Thursday, where we saw the highest point. Does that answer your question there, Richard? 105.76. Where's 105.76? There. Okay, at that point. Yeah, so that's a bit of a. You can also, so if we did that just to observe, 105.76 is about there, but let's look at that lowest point to this point up here. Just, I'm going to have a bit too many lines, but let's put it in. Okay, so if you took that lowest point up to this level, then what you will notice is that we have the 61.8 down here as well, right, at 106.25. That, let me see if I can zoom it in a bit, that point there. So you can also, so it adds confluence. I didn't pick this because it's just a bit of a middle level. Then the next question will be, oh, why not that point? And if we took that point, I'm just expanding on this, so just bear with me. If we took that point, then we would have that 50% level also forming a bit of a confluence. So it all works, right? It all works. It's just having a bit of a reason behind, a reason behind which levels you pick. I don't think it's right or wrong kind of thing. It's just preference. Unless of course you pick like that, like some random points there, then it'll be a bit odd. But if you pick that point, we have 61.8 forming that confluence. 50 if it breaks that point, so it makes sense. If we took that level, then we have 50 forming a bit of confluence, 61.8 with that 50, also in that area. And then if we took that move from Monday up, we have those levels. And if we took the whole move up from the bottom here to the top, then we have that point here at 106.25, right? So it's just whatever makes sense. Okay, I've got a bit too many. Okay, cool. I'll keep that. But good question. That way. No worries. I just wanted to see. Main thing was for this move this week, where could it, from the move, what are the retracement levels from this week? Cool, fantastic. Okay, and also, right, if it doesn't break, right, it comes down to here and it doesn't break, then we're still looking for it to push back up to 107. Ideally, it'll come up to that resistance, but I think that high seems to be holding prices quite well for now. Take that away. And then I'll put this just to highlight this high here. Alrighty. Now, with that said, let's look at the Kiwi dollar. All right, Kiwi. This happened at 4 a.m., so didn't get into this trade, right? So it set across, it pushed up. So if I shorten that out, it did push up, but it just didn't drop as much as we had liked, right? On that dollar strength, because dollar retraced back. So didn't get into this because it only broke the 5850 level at 4 a.m. Would be trading in my sleep, not a good thing to do. So take that away. Now that it's found this, it's finding this support level, this point here. Okay, I'll add on is that I'm not ruling out the idea that it could sit there, it could drop and sit there and break all the way back down. Very low, seems like a low chance, but you can't you can't rule that out. Okay, so on the Kiwi, what I look for this point. So that's the top to the bottom. Take those away. Now we have this point here at 23.6. If the dollar does retrace down to that 50 or that 38.2 and 50 level, then what we're looking at is the Kiwi dollar possibly pushing back up. You can see that's crossing over, it's pushing back up. What I'll be looking for is either it comes up to this point and turns back down, or it pushes up to this point and turns back down. Okay, so that's what I'll be looking out for on the Kiwi dollar. And take that away. So I'm looking for a retrace and a push back down. I think we could have a bit of way to go up. So we could be looking at that to push back down, right? So I'll be looking for a possible sell, test and reject 5905 stop loss 20, take profit 40 to the downside. Test, reject, back down. Okay, 5905. 5905, stop loss 20, take profit 40 to the downside. Needs test and reject. Okay, that's going to be good. Look for that. First down to that support. Then, I mean, if it doesn't, and you can see that forming as well. Okay, no, I'll keep that. I'm happy with that. Then onto the Aussie. All right, Aussie didn't break lower. Didn't break lower. Take that away. Didn't trigger that trade idea. Down to this point again. Retracing. Thanks for that, Noachuku. Appreciate it. Retracing, same thing. That's the previous swing levels between 23.6 and 38.2. We're looking for it to retrace. We're looking for it to retrace and reject. Retrace and reject back down. So that's what I'll be looking out for. 6505, stop loss 25 at the most. No, 30 at the most. Take profit back down to 60 down here. All right. The risk of what we're looking for here on the Kiwi and the Aussie is that it doesn't retrace all the way. Right? The risk is that it sits there and then the dollar doesn't break this level and it pushes right back up. Then we might have missed the move to sell it down. But if it's trending down, you guys know what to do. Right? If it breaks a key level, you know what to look out for. Dollar, Aussie dollar, you can see that it's breaking that point as well. It's breaking that point, and even if I took that, it's coming close to breaking the trend line to the downside. So we're still looking for it to test and break through. Okay. I'm just looking at this and I'm just feeling that it's not that strong. Right? H4 looks good, but on hourly, it looks like it might just sit there before possibly pushing back down. So 6505, 30 to 60. And I don't want to be buying it back up. I don't think it's ready to comfortably buy it back up yet. 30 to 60 that way. Okay, there we go, there we go. Now, with that, that all makes sense. It's just sitting right there. It feels like it could push and bounce, but even if it does break, I think it's a little bit too little space here. It needs to break a lot more. Okay, that's fine. We'll look at the pound dollar next. Right? Pound dollar, I would, if I miss the move, if the Kiwi or the Aussie doesn't retrace as much before pushing back down, I would have missed the move. But then I wouldn't be looking for that retrace and a push down on the pound dollar. Right? We've already seen the pound dollar do that. It's broken down. It would have given you about 30, 40 pip profit before it would have gone up and hit your stop loss. Right? So if you got into that, I hope you got out. If not, it would have gone up and hit your stop loss of 25. Now at this point, that whole move, don't need all that for now. Right now at this point here on the pound dollar, we've just seen, remember, we've just seen the GDP number that came out at minus 0.1%. So yes, we should be looking for some further downside on the pound dollar. I don't think we need that. We have the support here. So what I would now be looking for on the pound dollar, right? There we have it. Okay. Is it could do whatever it does here. It could retrace, do whatever it does, but I think it's going to sit across before pushing back down, which then I would be looking for it to break the support, and then I would sell down. So 1.26, sell down, stop loss 30, take profit 130 to the downside. I don't think it's going to move 130. Check the H4. Let's see. Break that support. Break that support. Come down to that dotted line. Yes, but we also have a bit of a level here. Support is up here. This point here. Yep. So let me check this on the H1. Back to the current. So what you could also be first looking out for is that break the support down 70. I'll do that. 1.26, 30 to 70 to the downside. Sell. Pound, sell 1.26. Stop loss 30, take profit 70 to the downside. Okay. Then on to the euro. Look at that. Euro has been that big mess. We're looking at that bouncing off, turning back down. It did all of that. I got in at a couple of trades. I got out at 1.0499. Right there, 1.0499 was my take profit. Hit the take profit, closed everything out, and then the next moment it pushed right back up. I was telling you guys about that on the Discord channel. I would say that's entirely fortunate. When did I get in? I got in right after our session, and there was just a quick trade. Um, I just put my take profit. It could very well have been just a little bit too low, and then next morning it goes up and hit my stop loss. Right. So now that's done. That's broken. Yes. Okay, I don't need that. So, what do you think? Does luck play a big factor in trading as well? I believe so. Yeah, it would have gone up and hit your stop loss on that. We talked about, sorry, let me just check. 1.05202070. We had 1.0520 there. Yeah, would have gone up and hit your stop loss at 20 there. After it came down and pushed right back up. What was I going to say? Okay. Euro, dollar, Aussie time. Yeah. Singapore times are just not good, not that great as well. That's why I want to move. I want to move to a better time zone. And it's quite soon. I could move quite soon to a better time zone. We shall see. I want to trade during the reasonable hours. Okay, so same thing on the euro, right? It's pushing back up. It's found this point. It's crossing over. We're anticipating that dollar weakness before some strength. So naturally, and you all know, right? You've been following me for years, months and years. You know I hate looking for retracements, but we'll do what we have to do. Get up to the resistance level and then look for it to push back down. So nothing for now. Test the resistance. Look to sell on a rejection below 1.06. So 1.0590. Stop loss would be about 30 pips. Take profit just back down to this point. We'll say about 70 to the downside. Let me check this dotted line. Yes, dotted line makes sense, but we can do a renewed level of this dotted line down to here. So let it push up. It could go beyond this resistance level. It could get up to that point, right? Up to that point there. But I'm looking for rejection, 1.0590, 30 to 70 to the downside. 1.0590, stop loss 30, take profit 70 to the downside. I'm looking at we've just looked at the Kiwi, the Aussie, the pound, and the euro. I wouldn't be surprised. As much as we're looking at the possible setups here, I wouldn't be surprised if we end up with no trades for today, because it could just slowly push up through the day, or through the rest of the day, and then sit around there only through to next week. Then we'll see it come back down. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's no entries for today. Okay, so just bear that in mind. Now, with that, then we look at the yen, right? US yen didn't come low enough to test that trend line and that 23.6. But it did push up, and because it didn't come low enough, it pushed up, would have gone up, would have, only pushed up by that point, which was at 7 a.m. this morning. Broken that level, would have come down and hit your stop loss. Shouldn't have gone into that because it was 7 a.m. this morning. Now, at this point, I'm going to be a bit more interested in the yen. Okay, why? Is because trend line, drag this trend line right up. I hope I haven't moved that line. Hang on. See, so we see that all the way from the bottom here, up, and we drag it all the way up to this point here. I'm looking at this come down, break, come down to this support level. It'll be good value to buy at back up. So not going to rush into the yen, right? I don't even think it's something that's going to happen today. This feels like it's a bit too much to do. So if it breaks that trend line, good. And that 23.6, fantastic. Look for it to come down to that 154, as low as 150. Just it needs to stay above 154. Okay, put it there. It needs to stay above 154. Test and bounce. Then I'll be looking for that move. So 155. Stop loss will be, no, I can go a bit lower than that. Yeah, well, no difference. 155, 154.90. Stop loss will be about, no, sorry. I want it 155. Stop loss will be about 50 pips. Take profit has a good potential for the 150, 160 back up again. But you need to see it come down. Break this level. Then that support, test, and bounce for that upward push. Okay, so 155.50 to 164. US yen buy 155, stop loss 50, take profit 1, Hold on. Before 160. 160. Yeah, right. Good, good, good. Now with that, then see it's already bouncing. I'll take that away. It's just messy. Okay, there we go. You can see the candle properly there. Bounce, yes. Okay, good. Then looking at the euro yen. All right, euro yen finally looks like it was breaking out. Again, broke out at that point, came back in, broke out again, came back in. At this point now, yen tracing back in, I think it's going to come back into this range. I would say that you shouldn't be looking at the euro yen yet, right? I am noticing this trend line like that, right? Now, in fact, we could even see that channel, a channel like that pushing up, right? So we're seeing this come back in. I think that if the US yen does drop this way, the euro dollar sitting and pushing up a little bit, we could see the euro yen come back down. I would think that maybe very similar to the US yen is a move back up that way. If it breaks that trend line. Alternatively, maybe what you could be looking for is a test and then a push back up. Thinking that the euro dollar possibly going up could do that. Yeah. Because see, every time it breaks out, it comes back in, breaks out, come back in, breaks out, come back in. Maybe what we're looking for is for it to break out, come back in, to push back up. Then you'll be looking at 164.60. Stop loss would be about 30 pips. Take profit would be about 70 up that way. Best place to trade is South Africa. Our morning is London session and afternoon is New York. I'll go a little bit east. I'll go a little bit more east. You're nowhere. Okay, so that's what I'll be looking out for on the euro yen. Then onto the pound yen, didn't drop and push, but it still stays within this range. Again, pound dollar not moving that much. US yen dropping, but not that much. But yet we're seeing the pound yen absolutely pushing right back down. So possibly what you could be looking for is nothing yet but a reaction at this point, at this 197 level. If it breaks, look for it to come down to that support level, 23.6, and that support level. If it bounces, back within the range. But I'm a bit surprised to see it drop that much. I want to see a reaction here at 197. Okay, does that make sense so far? Put into the chat, let me know if it all makes sense. Then, okay, then on to the US Swiss franc. All right, again, it did push up. It pushed up, it didn't come down enough to would have what we expected and triggered a trade. So this wouldn't be something you would have entered. Now, let me look at this. That was a move we saw. We drag it all up. to the top. Take all that away. Needs to break to the downside. Okay. So same thing. We're looking for the dollar and it's slowed down. That drop has slowed down. We were looking for the dollar to come down and bounce. US Swiss franc is sitting there. It looks like it's very likely to break. It looks like it's likely. Um, there we go. Right, it's sitting right at this point and it looks like it can break, but I wouldn't want to be selling it down at this point. We got a 50 there. I think that if it does break, then you'll be looking for it to push down towards this point before pushing back up again. That way. Right? So I don't really want to look at the Sweezy now because it's just whether it could come down to 0.88, nice round number, and bounce where it's bounced off before, or it could come down a little bit more to this support level and bounce. So retracing, look for it to complete the retracement before buying back up. In fact, I think that it'll be more interesting if we see the Sweezy come down to this point here. Right? So we're looking for reaction at about 8780. Where are we? Sweezy. Look for reaction at support of 0.8780. Okay. Then onto the US CAD. It's pushed up. So that counter trend idea was a bit too far fetched. That didn't work out. It continued pushing up. Right? Where are we? We were here yesterday. It didn't push down. It just went from 1.4, bounced off 1.4 and continued pushing up. I would say that with the current trend of the US CAD, follow the trend, right? It's been pushing up, follow the trend up. You'll be looking at 1.4080. Stop loss will be about 30 pips. Take profit will be about 65 to the upside. I think it's going to consolidate there for a moment, but you can see that the TSRI MACD is slowly crossing back up, or it's converging a little bit. So we're going to see it sit there, look for that push and a breakout to the upside. And I think this seems to be the most likely, very, very rarely I say that a US CAD is high on my list, but I think I'll rank this quite high at one point because I'm not looking for it to retrace before pushing back up again, right? So 1.4080, 30 to 65. No more counter trend. We're looking to buy at 1.40 something 80, 30 to 65. 1.4080, stop loss 30, take profit 65. There we go. There we go. Now on to gold. Yesterday we were saying that if it breaks 2550 to trade down to 2500, it got down to off 2550, it pushed down to 2538, and then it came all the way back up again, right? But shouldn't have been a surprise, because as it pushed down, as it came back up, you saw the dollar weakening back down. So the inverse relationship on the dollar pushing it back up again. I had a couple of trades to the downside, closed out, pushed back up. Still waiting. I'm still waiting for it to continue back down. I don't think it's going to happen soon. I don't. I think that, especially given the end of the week, it's gold has done its big move down, or it's doing its big move down this week. We started at, again, where we started here, 26.85, about there. All right, we started about there, all the way down. Okay, let's come back up to the 23.6 level. That's the point we were looking at. So that's what I'm looking at. It came back up, bounced, tested 26.8, 23.6. It looks like it might retrace back up. It could even test this resistance. I'm not looking for to buy gold back up. If it retraces, I'll be looking for that push back down. So look for it to let it retrace. Look for selling opportunities, possibly at that 2600 level. All right, so gold, retracing. Look for completion of retracement to sell down, possibly at 2600 resistance level. Okay. So again, please remember that it is a Friday. We could see markets retrace quite significantly. A lot of the trade setups we've been looking at was looking for it to retrace, complete a retracement, then look to sell on a dollar strength continuation. So a lot of patience. Friday, it's a lot of patience, and also that this this is the last daily market analysis that's available publicly. If you haven't already, do make sure you join. The link is there. Elite Navigator membership. It's only $9 a month. Join that. Get the daily market analysis, TSRI, MACD, the Bollinger Band as well. I have educational videos coming up for you guys. Some strategy videos as well. It's all going to be there. Please remember to, next week onwards, it's only for the elite navigators. Enjoy your weekend. Trade well, trade safe. I will see you all next week. Take care now.